Guys, we have a special guest today. We have Sir Winston. Oh, there he is. I say hi, Win. He's here, if you're watching. Before I start this episode, I have to... Dude, my nail tech yesterday said the most mind-blowing quote. This has been keeping me up. And I was like, I'm starting my podcast tomorrow with that because it was genius. Mind you, she's 24 and she was just spitting fucking wisdom. I said, you know what? At the end of the day, and she interrupted me without a second to pause and said, the day's got to end. I said, hold on. What the fuck did you just say? She said, at the end of the day, the day's got to end. Oh, genius. I go, take all of my money. That is I don't know what it is about that quote, but essentially the essence is you can plan your shit. You can be fixated on principle or what should happen. At the end of the day's got to fucking end. Okay. So you can play your little game all day. Tomorrow's a new one. If today sucks, wake up. We'll deal with it tomorrow. I had to start it with that because I thought that was fucking genius. The bitch is 24. Okay. We are going to talk about something important today. Kind of a little bit of a revelation I had that is scary and weird. And I think everybody will relate to in some way. But what I have been doing is I write things. I have, God, like just thousands of random fucking notes in my note app because I smoke, so I have like weird epiphanies and then I read them the next morning and I'm like, what the fuck did I, like raccoons are taking over the world? Okay. I have a weird thing about raccoons. Like where are they during the day? That's another tangent I'll go on another day. But anyway, so I write down random things and I encourage you to do it. Not just, I'm a writer. I like to write and I find a lot of my inspo from just random tidbits of information that I keep on my note apps, whether it's something that somebody said to me, whether it's like an opinion I have or something I disagree with. I just write anything. We're so used to capturing things via picture and video. And I feel like sometimes we forget to capture the essence of something, like what people said or how we felt. So I keep track of my emotions. I've always been doing this, but especially what I did last year is I don't celebrate my wins. This is going to be part of the topic we talk about today. I don't ever stop and say, wow, that thing I did was really cool. I'm trying to be better at it. So last year at this time, I will never forget, it was right before Coachella, is kind of when my career blew up. And I all of a sudden I was just doing things that I never thought I'd be able to do. And of course, I have documentation via photos and videos of it, but I wanted to track how I felt. And I have an accomplishment list that anytime I hit a milestone, anytime there's validation, anytime something cool in my life happens, and I try to, which is part of today's topic, not just make it career based, any like personal growth, anything that happens with my boyfriend and I or my family. Granted, 99% of it is work related, which I'm trying to be better at having it not all be work related. But nevertheless, I keep track of it. That way, when I feel like shit, or I feel like I'm not doing enough, or I feel like there's not enough going on, I open the book and I go, holy shit, look at last April, look at June, look at that week. And it's how I practice gratitude and try to be aware of it. Anyway, so before we get into it, I want to show you my running list. Now, here's the thing. I am petrified. One of my ongoing fears is if I'm on a carpet or if I have to do one of those really cute, cheeky interviews and they're like, read your last note. I'd be like, no, diabolical. Cancel this interview right now. I'm not doing it because I have some random ass fucking shit. I'm also petrified of getting the what are your 4 favorite films. I would no, jail. I'm not doing that. I am petrified of that. But being the workaholic that I am, I'm just going to read you this. I have this is such an actor / douchey creative thing to have. Also just type A. I have a running list of all of my favorite movies in case I ever get asked that question, but I'm smart enough to know that I will curate it depending on who asks it. Like you don't want to give 4 movies that are critically acclaimed, classic, cinegeek movies, but then you also don't want to be like, oh, Harry Potter 1 through 4. So I would curate it to be just a little mix of both. But I'll tell you what this list is. And these are great fucking movies. Grand Budapest Hotel. Again, that's like if I'm talking to somebody that really appreciates like how things look aesthetically, they'd be like, oh, that's amazing. Harry Potter. All of them, but specifically Prisoner of Azkaban. Kick-Ass. Emperor's New Groove. Great fucking movie. Deadpool. Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a Wonderful Life. Cliché. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. Coraline. Ratatouille, which is the greatest movie of all time. Totoro, Spirited Away, anything Miyazaki. That's not pick me. That's just fact. Avatar and Avatar 2, Inception, The Matrix, The Breakfast Club. Again, talking to the people that are really into cinema. The Florida Project. If you have not seen it, it's just one of the most underrated films. It's with Willem Dafoe. It's wonderful. Interstellar, The Mask, John Wick, Mrs. Doubtfire, Amelie, The Artist, and Roman Holiday. Those are 3 plugs for a geek, for someone that could really appreciate how many films I've watched. I haven't watched that many. And A Quiet Place. I also have a note of Dream Blunt Rotation. Snoop Dogg, that's a little on the nose, I understand. Rihanna, Miley Cyrus, Adam Sandler, Idris Elba, Meryl Streep, Keke Palmer, Jim Carrey, Jason Bateman. So in case that ever happens, I'm prepared. Anyway, I'm petrified of being asked those questions. So I just want to read you the notes that I've had from this week. First one, I wrote, stop normalizing waiting for people to get to the restaurant to order. Okay. I've already normalized this. I live with it. I'm fine with it. I need everybody else to fucking normalize it so I don't feel like a dick. If you are running late to dinner, let me order something. I'm going to order a drink and an app. And I'm going to browse the menu. In fact, I like if you're a little late because it takes the pressure off. I'm fucking starving by the time I get there. Okay. Because I live far away from everybody in Los Angeles. So I just drove 2 hours. Let me get some fucking edamame. That's number one. I've already accepted it, but I need everybody, like this game that we're playing that we need to wait for everybody. Stop. Like, we're not a considerate society. I don't know why we have this complex. Also, don't make me wait for you until you get your food. I also feel bad, like for other people, if they're waiting, like fucking eat your food. Okay. So that was important enough that I put it at number one. Number two just says, mom calls me that she is having a stroke. Right. So this is very Carmela coded. So I get a call from my mom. Hello, I'm having a stroke. Okay. Now, let me just mention, my mother is in Massachusetts. I am on the other side of the country. So if there is a near-death emergency, I'm going to assume that I'm not high up on the hierarchy of phone calls. So I go, okay, where's dad? Oh, he's in the living room watching TV. Okay. Go to the doctor? No, I can't. I can't. Okay. What's going on? Why do you think you're having a stroke? Well, I'm seeing weird flashes in my eyeball and I looked it up and it said I'm having a stroke. Okay. You're probably not having a stroke. Why don't you just go to fucking bed? I gotta go. Where are you going? I need to go have a panic attack by myself. There are always these moments where I realize that I'm going to be just like my mom and I'm like, fuck. And I'm aware of it too. Like I'll vent to my boyfriend and I'll be like, oh my God, my mom did this. And he just stops and looks at me. He's like, you do the same fucking shit. I'm like, no, I don't. Same thing happens with my mom. I'll bitch to her or she'll bitch to me about her mom. And I'll be like, Ma, Nana does the same shit to you. Oh, Christina, come on. Come on. I'm like, oh my God. And there are moments like this that I have to be aware. And then my mom has an Android. And then on top of it, she does talk to text. So deciphering my mother's text messages is a fucking Olympic sport. She texts me on Saturday. She goes to the eye doctor. Mind you, this phone call I get is on a Tuesday. She already, I guess, has an eye appointment on Saturday. So I'm like, hey, why don't you call them? Let them know that you think you're having a stroke. Let them know your symptoms. If they think it's important, maybe they'll... I can't. She sends me a fucking text on Saturday. Okay, I'm going to just read you this text. Now, mind you, this text has not one bit of punctuation. Not one. It's a run-on sentence. And also the Android just bleeps out curse words. So there's always just random little stars that I have to, and the word that was blocked out here is crap. So she said, I just left eye doctor. Good news. I don't have tear or retinal detachment. It's just as we age, the gel behind our retina, I guess, decreases. And that's why I'm seeing floaters and flashes. But my gel is fitting. It's breaking off normally. But I will say she scared the C with a bunch of stars, crap, out of me when she said, we need to give you a medical exam. I responded, deciphering your text messages is an Olympic sport, but I'm happy to hear you're not having a stroke. Okay, because then also, like, I try to make jokes, like, she's freaking out about her eyes, and I'm like, well, the good news is, Mom, you really only need one eye to see, and she's like, that's not funny. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. You like, go to sleep, go to the doctor, call somebody else, like, I'm doing laundry here. I can't be bothered. But I really relate to the having panic attacks in the privacy of my own home. Like when I know I'm about to spiral, I need to be left alone. Like I'll say, hey, let me go fucking crash out by myself and I'll get back to you in like 2 to 3 business days. And I'm petrified that I'm going to be insufferable in the way that my mother is. Love you to death, Carmela, but you're fucking crazy. Okay. Number 3, I wrote, I fucked up with my tattoos. So you guys remember, I like love getting tattoos. I feel very like creatively, I feel in control of my body, all that bullshit, right? So I started dabbling in leg tattoos. Mind you, these are small little tattoos, but I start getting them. Now tell me why I only fucking get them in the only areas that I forget to shave is where I got my tattoos. I got 2 on the bone of my ankle, okay? And 1 on my foot. I get a fuzzy ass foot. So ever since I posted, I got some foot leg tattoos. All of my friends, people in my life, when they see me, oh, let me see your tattoos. No, I'm wearing fucking knee socks because I know, even though I shaved this morning, I can almost put my life on the line that there are 3 whiskers right around that ankle bone. And now I'm drawing attention to it. So now I'm never wanting to show off these tattoos because around my ankle, it says day by day with 6 fucking whiskers. Day by day, I can't even shave the bone of my ankle. And I was like, hey, you know what? Slap a tattoo there. Let people know. So word to the wise here, if you're going to get tattoos, don't put them in areas that you're insecure. I don't know. Don't put them in areas where you forget to fucking shave. Pissed about that. This one doesn't need to be read, but I'm going to read it. I saw a meme that I thought was so important. It was important enough to transcribe it and put it in my notes. And I'm going to read you that note. Said meme reads, do celebrities get diarrhea? Can't imagine Zendaya experiencing what I'm going through right now. I'm not going to elaborate on that further. And then 5, I wrote at 8:43, isn't life weird? You just do Monday through Sunday every week until you die. Sometimes I crash out and I get a little dark at night and then I throw in an episode of SpongeBob and I'm good. We don't need to dabble into that very much, but actually that does kind of lead me to today's point, which by the way is not reading you fucking notes, okay? I have a point here. I'm in a silly, goofy mood this morning. And then, okay, number 6, last one. I wrote, one thing that is undeniable about getting older is that you literally can't mind your fucking business. When we moved to our place, so we're still renting. We were renting an apartment. Now we're renting a house. When you grow up in this process, right, and you're doing more responsible shit, like now I'm in a home, which is a grander responsibility than being in an apartment. When we met our neighbors, we met one of them. This bitch knows everything about everybody in this neighborhood. Like I talked to her for 30 minutes. She's like, oh yeah, that's Jackie and Jackie's kids live over there. And that's Bob. Bob used to be a professional hockey player. And she knows everything. And I remember leaving going like, that girl's got to get a hobby. Like she knows a lot. 2 months in, if I could be one person in this world, it would be her because she just knows everything that's going on. There's such a peace of mind of knowing that. Saturday night, Shane walks upstairs and he's like, 2 cops across the street. Without saying anything, we just bolt it to the window, stick our fat ass heads out of the fucking, I have a big head, okay? We stick our fat ass heads out of the curtains and we're just looking at the cop activity. Nothing crazy, by the way. And we're like, who do you think that is? Oh, I think that's our neighbor from down the street. Wait, is there a kid over there? Hold on a second. We're doing this for like 30 minutes. I take my head out of the curtain. I look at him. I go, we got to go touch grass here. I'm just accepting the fact that I'm becoming a Karen as I get older. And it is what it is. Okay. So now we're getting into the meat of this podcast. So I did 2 podcasts this past week. The first one, I think if you are somebody that really prides yourself on your personality, the vibe you bring to the function, I think you will really relate to this. I pride myself on being fun and bubbly and hold on. Every time I'm on here, I got to burp. Oh my God. Sorry. I almost puked actually. Okay, so I really pride myself on being bubbly and fun and making people feel comfortable and whatever, right? And because of that, I put an insane amount of pressure on myself to show up as that version of myself all the time, which again, guys, we've talked about this. We are not one-dimensional. There are many aspects of ourselves. It is not sustainable to be at that level all the time. The issue is on social media, I mean, some people are fake, but it's not that you're being fake. It's that just the way social media works is people kind of cling on to one aspect of you, and that's the version of you that they expect, right? So even though there are different sides of you, it's kind of hard to show that on the social media platforms that we currently have, because the second you switch up your mood, people are like, whoa, you're fake. This isn't your personality. So you kind of have to stick to that side of your personality or that side of your interest or hobby and just kind of stay there. That's why I love having a podcast now, because it's a place in which I can show, hey, I'm not just a show dog. I do other things. Look at me, But on social media, unfortunately, you don't always get that freedom. So I have always, my whole life, put a lot of pressure on myself to be, because I think, oh, when people meet me for the first time, they expect that version of me. And I'm really nervous that if I'm not there that day, that they'll feel really disappointed. And that's kind of shitty. And I'm sure a lot of you relate to that too. Just this like insane amount of pressure you put on yourself. And the unfortunate thing is my job takes place so much in public. So I get really in my head when I have to do things or show up to things and I'm not at that level, because I hate not being at that level. Because when I'm at that level, that I'm really bubbly and outgoing, that also just usually tells me that I'm in a good mood and I'm feeling good. And then I just feel more confident. So I do this podcast and I was just really in my head because I wasn't feeling really witty. I wasn't feeling really quick. I wasn't feeling really funny. I was feeling a little burnt out. And I think we burn out more too as creatives because we really try to push that one aspect of ourselves even when we don't feel like that. I mean, it's the same thing with acting. I mean, I would like get a call, hey, so-and-so is on their deathbed, and then I got to run into an audition and play like a bubbly teenager. And then eventually you just burn out because you're having to swap back and forth between emotions. So I felt like this. I clocked myself. I felt really down about it after, and I was in my head. And now I'm trying to be aware of it and be like, hey, I can't do that. I have to just accept myself at whatever level I'm at that day. If I'm really bubbly and the life of the party, great. If I'm not, whatever. I still have other attributes about me that make me a great friend and fun to be around. And I'm just trying to be okay with that. Second podcast I said something out loud that I don't think I've ever verbalized. I didn't even really mean to say it. I didn't even know that I felt it until the words came out of my mouth. And I have been spiraling about it ever since. I said that I judge my success, my worth, and my purpose based on my workload, how much of it I'm able to do, how much of it I'm able to take on, and how much of it I'm able to achieve. And I said that, and I was like, wait, what? That's fucking crazy that I think like that my entire self-worth is based in my work. And I was like, you know what? This is obviously something that we all feel, whether we think we do or not. This is just kind of how society has made us feel since we were young. And I just started reading about it. I had a 2-hour-long drive back. So I spiraled for 2 hours, and then I got home and I just like researched a bunch, read a bunch, and figured out like, where does it start from? Why do we do it? How can we fix it? And just being aware of it. And that's what we're going to chat about today, because I know for a fucking fact, so many of you feel the same way, where you put so much of your worth into what you do for a job and your identity starts blending in with what you do for work. And that's where it starts getting a little dicey. From a young fucking age, we are taught, whether it be explicitly or implicitly, that success equals work and productivity, right? What grades you get, what sports teams you get onto, what then, medals and trophies when you're an athlete, what college you get into, what job you get, what salary bracket you're into, right? It's a correlation. Now, I'm not saying this is a good or bad thing, right? We live in a society. There needs to be some sort of order, right? We can't all just be like walking around like, yeah, I'm, like we need to work. We need to have some kind of structure. We need to have things to strive for. This isn't saying like society failed us. It's more so understanding that because this has been the standard our whole lives without us really thinking twice about it, being aware so that we don't fall into these habits as adults where we put so much weight into our work and our career that we completely lose our identity. We are constantly being praised for what we accomplish and what we achieve rather than who we are, which is probably why so many of us are constantly having fucking identity crises and issues with our self-worth, because we have embedded so much of who we are into these jobs. Because we are told, hey, you need to know what you want to do with your entire life by the age 18, which that alone, give me a fucking break, please. Okay. You need to know exactly what you want to do with your entire life by the age of 18. Oh, you don't know what you want to do with your entire life at the age of 18? Okay. You'll go to college. We're going to expose you to enough in 4 years that you will leave college and then you will know exactly what you want to do. Guess what? More times than not, you still don't know what you want to fucking do. But if you don't know what you want to do, you feel like something's wrong with you. Fuck, I should know what I want to do. There's people that have known they wanted to be doctors and lawyers since they were young. Fuck, what's wrong with me? I'm supposed to know what I want to do. So what do we do instead? We just pick a fucking career. We pick a lane. We say, okay, well, I know I'm going to have bills. I need to hurry up and start working because I know I'm going to be doing this job for years and years and years to even reach a level where I'm making money that I can afford my bills. So let me hurry up and pick a lane and pick a career and just live with that. Then what happens is that job, that lane that we pick becomes our identity, even if we hate it. Right? We've embedded so much of ourselves in it. We work so hard at it, even though we don't like it. But again, we know, fuck, we got to pay our bills and I want to keep working and I want to, get a promotion and go higher and higher and higher in this career, even if I don't like it. But we've already embedded so much of ourselves in our work that we end up hating ourselves because we're doing a job that we hate. But how do we avoid this? I mean, think about it. When you meet somebody new, what's like the first question they ask you? Oh, what do you do? What do you do for work? And if you are somebody that doesn't like what you do for work, you hate that question. Fuck, even if you like what you do for work, you might hate that question because you know that your answer is going to give that person asking it so much judgment about you that everything you say for the rest of that conversation or the rest of your relationship or the rest of your time together is going to be judged based on that answer, right? That's why for so long I hated saying I was a content creator because content creation is my job. It's not who I am, right? I'm not like, if someone asks me about myself, I try not to be like, well, I'm a content creator that's like my job and I love it, but I have an identity outside of content creation. But I'm aware that so many people already have stereotypes and ideas about what a content creator is, that if I'm just meeting you and that's the first bit of information you get about me, it doesn't really matter what I say for the rest of the conversation because you're always going to fall back to the fact that I'm a content creator. It's going to help you form an opinion about other things that I say, things that I like, things that I don't like, because we're human. That's just how we operate, right? Like you just go off of the little information that you have. We are taught that hard work pays off. Work hard, you'll get a good job. Okay. Study really hard, you get into a good school. Work your ass off, you'll get a good job. Keep working really hard at your job, you'll get a promotion, you'll make a fuck ton of money, and then you can buy a nice house. Here's the thing. It's not a guarantee, unfortunately. And you don't really realize that until you're balls deep and working hard. That you can work really you can dedicate your entire life to one craft and you can work the hardest you've ever worked at it. And that doesn't mean it's going to happen for you. And that sucks, but that's life, right? Like life isn't this like calculated thing where if you do this thing will happen. No. I mean, if you want that thing to happen, you have to do the work, but it's not a guarantee. I busted my ass in school. I didn't get into like 90% of the colleges that I applied to. Okay. I busted my ass trying to be an actor for 10 years and I never got where I wanted to go. So hard work, yeah, you need it to get to where you're going. But there are also so many other factors that are out of your control. But then it sucks because you invest so much in this thing that you want. And if it doesn't work out for you, what do you have left? If you invest so much of who you are and your identity and your happiness, if you bake all of that into this one fucking job, this one fucking career, this one path, and then it doesn't work out for you, you got to start all over again. That's really scary. I wrote down, why do we put so much value into what we do and how much of it we do? Well, naturally, work is stability, right? Like work and success, it's money. We need money at the end of the day. We can try to be like, oh, we need money to pay bills, to support our families, to support whatever we're doing. We need money. Working hard and success equals some sort of stability in a very unpredictable world. Fine, right. Nothing wrong with that. We should strive to have a good career, to make money, to have things that we need to support our lifestyle. Great. That's not the issue. The issue is that is never the extent. The extent is never, I just need this one promotion. And once I get that promotion, I know that I'll be in a place that I can take a step back. I can afford my life. That's not how it works. Our society is constantly celebrating wins over personal growth, right? materialistic wins. It is far sexier to see someone buy a really nice car after they got a promotion than for someone to admit they started going to therapy. That's just how it is, unfortunately, right? We are praised for the things that we achieve and not the people that we are. It's fine to have goals and it's fine to have monetary goals. But if your goalpost keeps moving, at the end of the day, you could lose your job. You could not get that promotion. Or you could get all of the things that you want and still not be happy and still not feel fulfilled in your job. Then what? What are you left with after that? Then there's this aspect of social media, which here's the thing. We are not meant to know what everybody is doing at any given time. That's just not natural. We're not supposed to be seeing hundreds of people every minute and what they're achieving and where they are in the world and what they're doing and what their opinions are. It is constant overstimulation. We are getting information out of context. We don't know people's full truth. We don't even know if they're telling the truth. And we're just taking information and saying, fuck, I should be doing more, right? We are learning what is successful based on other people's opinions that usually aren't even in our life. They have no jurisdiction in our life. They have no relation to us. And we are taking their idea of what success is and we are trying to achieve it. After I blurted this out on a podcast, I really sat with it. That was a real eye opener for me. And I felt kind of sad for myself that I thought that. And I went home and I just read a bunch of stuff. And I read one specific thing that punched me in the gut. And I have it here. It's actually now made its way into my notes app under my mother thinking she was having a stroke. And I'm going to keep it there. And I'm going to read it whenever I feel like this. Might also punch you in the gut. So I'm going to read it to you. If we stop defining ourselves by achievement, what are we left with? That question can be terrifying. It forces us to confront deeper questions about who we are without our resume, without our income, and without our lifestyle. Many people avoid this existential discomfort by staying busy and striving for the next win. Ooh, that one punched me right in the fucking gut. Who are you outside of your job? Who are you outside of your work ethic? Who are you outside of your materialistic things and your wins? Do you like that person? Do you even know who that person is? Have you sat with that person enough to even know who they are? No. So we just keep burying ourselves in work because it's easier than the idea of sitting with ourselves. Again, so much of our identity is baked into our work and our career and the thing that we want to do that we really don't know who we are outside of it. We are so lost in our work. And I also think that this is specific to American standards. If you're listening to this and you're not really relating to this, I think that's important to mention. We definitely live to work. And I think that in a lot of other parts of the world, people work to live. I don't agree with either of them. I think that there's a happy balance. I don't think that you should just have a job for a paycheck. And I also don't think that you should live your entire life for a career. I think that there should be a world in which you strive to do a thing that you love. And you also find a balance with other things in your life that you love. Again, that's easier said than done. But, especially in this time, right? Like finding a job is not easy. And then never mind finding a job that you love. I'm very well aware of that. But I'm more so just talking about a mindset that we should have and that we should try to work towards rather than specific, materialistic wins. So we have to separate ourselves from our jobs. How do we do that? So the first thing is redefining success. What does success mean to you? Not what your teachers taught you, not what your parents taught you, not what that bitch on Instagram taught you, not what Gary Vee taught you. What do you think success is? I'll tell you what I think success is. I think success is freedom. I've learned this. I actually learned this like a year and a half ago when I did an interview and I had to sit with some questions, and it was, how do you define success? And I was like, that's a great question. How do I define success? I define success as freedom, whether it be creative freedom, whether it be financial freedom, or whether it be freedom of your time. Ideally, all three. But freedom is what I define as success, which again is what I've realized when I switched from full-time acting to full-time content creation is although I was creating in some way as an actor, I had no control over it, right? Unless you're the 1% of actors, you have zero creative control. Whereas with content creation, I have creative control. That's awesome. I also can work as little or as much as I want. You can be, when you're in the world of content creation, you can do the bare fucking minimum and be lazy as fuck, or you can be a workhorse. You pick where you want to go, right? I err on the workhorse side of things, but I have the freedom to kind of figure out where I want to go. But mostly for me, I have creative freedom. For you, it might be peace. It might be privacy. It might be balance. I think that if you really sit with the idea of when do you get a win in your life that makes you feel really fulfilled? I feel really fulfilled when I like write a script and a brand approves it and I get to shoot a campaign that's in my voice, in my visual way. That feels really rewarding for me. And I've learned that is the creative freedom. I love having freedom. So redefining success. It's not, owning 8 houses or maybe it is for you. If it is for you, then, maybe we got to start back from square one. You should never be chasing those things, right? You should figure out what the bare bones of the thing that you love is and chase that. So for me, it's freedom. Number 2 is spend time with the person you are outside of work. This means spending time alone. As an only child, this is my solve for any fucking issue you have in life. If you are feeling some type of way, spend time by yourself. If you are feeling weird about some people in your life and you need to make a big decision, spend time alone. Don't fill up all of your free time with other people. Spend time by yourself. When you are by yourself, you are truly who you really fucking are. When you're watching TV and you laugh because you actually think it's funny. You're not laughing because you're in the presence of somebody else and you want to impress them. When you have an idea about something, that's your authentic idea. It's not because you think that idea will impress the other person or whatever it may be. Spend time by yourself. Figure out who the fuck you are. Figure out who the fuck you are when you're not working. Do you like that person? If you find yourself, I do this. I will admit this. When I start having free time by myself, I start going into work brain. Is that because I'm afraid to be by myself? Yeah. It's also leads me to my next point, which this one was very hard to read, which is practice rest without guilt. If you feel guilty resting, it's probably because you think rest equals laziness and laziness equals failure. That's me. That's where my work horse comes from. If I have free time by myself, I actually really like who I am when I'm alone because I've just gotten really comfortable with being by myself, being an only child, and just also spending so much time alone in my life. That's not in a sad way. That's like, I like being alone. I do my best work when I'm alone. I have my best ideas when I'm alone. I have the most clarity when I'm alone. So I am very comfortable with being alone. My issue is, yes, I associate rest with being lazy. Like I have a complex too, where I see other people rest and I'm like, you're lazy. And I'm trying to get out of that where there has to be a middle ground. I get that from my mother. I never saw my mom sit on a damn couch and watch an episode of anything ever. Like when we would all sit down and watch a movie, she'd be like, oh, well, there's dust in that corner. I have to go sweep it up. I'd be like, this bitch is fucking nuts. Just sit down for 10 minutes and watch an episode of SpongeBob. And when she would sit, I would see her body language like, oh, I should be up doing something. I do the same shit. I'm trying to be very well aware of it. Where even for an example, I travel so much for work. I work so much that if I get a weekend at home, which is very rare, I like make a running to-do list for me and my boyfriend of, hey, we need to hang that art and we need to do that in the backyard. Like all of these things that I want to do. And it's great. I feel super accomplished. But then I'm like, damn, we just spent the whole weekend doing house chores, Like I wish I could have found the middle ground of saying like, hey, from 7 a.m. to noon, let's do the backyard and then let's go to the fucking beach. So I think finding the balance, that's been my big thing this year, is finding the fucking balance. So the rest thing is my biggest challenge, and that's the number one thing I'm working on. Create value-based goals. I want to show up for people more in my life. Mine is I want more fucking balance. Fuck's sake, I want more balance. I'm an all or nothing person, which is great. That's awesome. I think that's why in a lot of ways I've been successful at the things that I do, because I am 1,000% or no percent. The issue is I have so many things and categories that make me who I am and that I'm really passionate about. Mental health, physical health, friends, family, working out, getting outside, doing work, spending time with my dogs. But because I'm an all or nothing person, I put 1,000% into a couple of those, and then everything else falls by the wayside. And then I feel so unbalanced. I just feel like something is missing all the time. What's missing? Oh yeah, I haven't, I haven't boxed. I haven't, gotten my nails done. Like just stupid little things that make me feel good. So I think my goal has been, I need more balance. And in order for me to do that, I come up with some sort of schedule where I'm like, okay, between this hour and this hour, it's going to be all work. And then between this hour and this hour, I'm going to that workout class. If I can set, because I'll work all the way through. If you can set kind of, finish lines for each thing that's important to you and hold yourself to it. Maybe it's putting on a timer and being like, especially if you have fucking ADD, right? Like if I say I'm going to clean, God, that's the whole day is gone because I'm now cleaning like random shit that I never saw in my life. If you can set a timer, 2 hours, bitch, I'm cleaning this house. When that buzzer goes off, I'm out of here and I'm on to something else. If that is something that you need to do, fucking do it. That's something that I need to do, or else I will just get lost in whatever I'm doing. Then the last thing is surrounding yourself with people that know you and love you. You need to surround yourself with people that support you, period. And people that celebrate you, genuinely celebrate you and celebrate your work wins, but also are not reliant on your work wins to have common ground with you. I think a lot of times when we are so embedded in our work, we surround ourselves with a lot of work friends, right? Because we have a common ground. But again, these are people, like we're all in kind of the same world. I think having people from different aspects of your life, maybe friends that you meet, from working out, and friends that you meet from doing your job, and friends that you meet from whatever the fuck it may be. But friends that don't necessarily need your work wins to feel relation to you, that don't necessarily need your work drama to feel close to you. Somebody that can separate that and that you can still have a relationship. If your job goes away tomorrow or you lose passion for your job, you still have that common ground with those people and they're still there to support you. I had somebody ask me, how much do you let people in your life when you're struggling? And who is the person that has helped you the most with your mental health? And the sad answer is, although there's so many supportive people in my life, I didn't have an answer because I don't let people in enough when I need them to be able to point to somebody and say, this person helped me the most. Because in my defense, I don't even know when I'm struggling because I've used work as that thing that I bury myself in when I'm struggling. I'm now aware of it, where when I'm really overwhelmed and I'm really not in a great place with my mental health, I bury myself in my work because it's a distraction. And I can feel all of these little wins along the way, and that makes me feel better. So in my mind, I think that I'm curing my mental health. I'm not. I'm just prolonging when I'm going to deal with it. So now I couldn't ask for help because I didn't even know when I needed it. But now I'm aware of, okay, when I start burying myself in my work, that's when shit's, and my boyfriend noticed it. He'll be like, hey, I got to pull you out of this right now. It's Saturday night. What are we doing here? You're working. It's late at night. Having people in your life that can support you too and notice before you even notice when you need the help. So I'm now aware that, hey, even if I don't know that I'm struggling, I do know that I've been burying myself in work. Maybe it's time to do like a little self-check-in. Maybe it's time to like put the phone down and go touch grass, get outside, do things that are not work related. It's very hard with what I do because my personal life and my work life, they blend. I'm sitting here doing a podcast. This is work right now. This is my job, but this is my personal life. So it is a little strange for me to draw that line in the sand and be like, this is where my personal life ends and my work life begins. But I just have to be aware of it. I have to have people around me that are aware of it, and I just have to keep myself in check. And at the end of the day, what's the point of fucking life, right? Like, what's the point of life if we just go from Monday to Sunday every week until we die? And yeah, I'm achieving all the things that I want and I'm doing everything in my career, but it's still Monday to Sunday till I die. And then what? And then what happens when I dedicate my whole life to it and I wake up one day and I'm whatever age and I go, oh my God, I never stopped to enjoy it. I never stopped to celebrate it. I think it's hard because you have to hustle. And when you're young, you have to put everything you have into your line of work. But you also need to enjoy life. And you can't you can't move the goalpost. I'll enjoy life when. The second you start doing that, the goalpost is you're never going to reach it. And then you wake up one day and you go, fuck, I spent the last 20 years chasing a goalpost and I don't even know where it is right now, to be honest with you. So the homework for me, I'm not going to give you guys homework, but if you want to be aware of something, think about what you do when you're struggling. Like if there's a habit mine is burying myself into my work. Number 2 is, have you completely tied your identity with your job, with your work? Have they just gone so hand in hand that you can't really find where one ends and one begins? And the other thing is, if you don't fucking like what you do, again, I'm very privileged to be able to work right now. These are weird times that we're living in, I understand. But if you don't like what you do and you're not in a position to make money from something that you like to do right now because it's just not there, do other things outside of work that make you happy and just do more of them. And hopefully you get to a point where you can find a way to monetize that thing that you love. You're not married, no matter what age you are. It is never too late for a career change. It is never too late to change your mind, and it's never too late to start over. So that idea, get out of your fucking head. I love you guys. We'll see you on Thursday because that's what we do. But I love you guys, and I will see you on Thursday. Okay, bye. Winston, say bye. You can't even see him. He's down here. And don't come at me with like, where's Willa? Willa would never let me do this, but she's somewhere upstairs eating matches. That's her new fixation. She eats matches. She's just my little pyromaniac queen. Okay, love you guys.